When you speak about people feeling limited in their ability to advocate as frontline workers within the system, we can also take that up to a higher level where organizations have been consistently, for over a generation, depoliticized in Canada, right? Our nonprofit sector has shifted from where it was, say, in the 70s and even into the 80s, and with some groups today, where these were membership-based volunteer structures, where when funding was given by government, it was core funding, and nonprofits saw themselves as having a critical voice in advocating. We've moved towards nonprofits primarily becoming government subcontractors. And that voice and that ability, that space to take stances, especially to take critical or radical stances, has been slowly taken away. And so it becomes very hard, right? We all know about what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you. And many organizations feel that they're in that place, that we might see an issue with this funding. We might see an issue with how this structure goes. We might see an issue with this ministry or whatever it is. But we stay silent because we realize to speak out, to be seen as the rabble rousers or whatever it is, means our next grant may not get funded. And then we're having to let go staff. People can't feed their families. Our organization dwindles. We're marginalized as a group. And so that is the real struggle, I think, for many of our agencies. And how can we find a voice and navigate this system that is so program-based and so deliverable-based and leaves very little role for that voice? But I think we have to do it. And we also have to understand that advocacy comes in different ways, right? That there's a real role for the radicals who will get in the streets, who will make demands that may seem impossible today. We'll just kick doors in and physically do what's necessary to be heard. But there's also a role for those folks who are going to go and meet with the politicians and are going to work on policy behind closed doors, who might look for compromise, who might seek allies. And there's not one way to be revolutionary or one way to be progressive. And actually, we need to see that the different ways in which Black folks advocate for our issues can be complementary to each other. But I think we as a community, as has always historically been, and especially in progressive circles, sometimes we spend so much time arguing with each other or critiquing each other's approaches because they're not pure enough. That we miss the point that actually a variety of voices and a variety of advocacy tactics actually help move things forward. And we look at historical struggles, whether it was South African liberation or in the civil rights movement, there were a variety of voices. There was a variety of approaches. And it was that mix. And when people could coordinate and respect the different spaces people were advocating from, that you saw things really pushing forward.